Hi, my awesome friends. It's challenge time. And today's challenge is Haunted Halloween. Let's see what I created. Welcome to my haunted mansion where ghosts rule the house and the gargoyles oversee the yard so trespassers don't come in. And if they do, you know what ends up happening to them? They end up in the graveyard. So let's take a tour of my haunted mansion. So as we first come up to the pathway, we have this archway that tells you that this is pretty spooky because you see the ghost and you see the tombstones that say rest in peace. So if you were to be a little brave, you would enter in through. And as you're coming up to the walkway, you can already see the ghost in the doorway, which is very spooky. And there's the two gargoyles watching over the yard. And let's take a look at this sign, the archway. Like I said, it has the ghost with the rest in peace signs on the tombstones. And then I put this, let me see if I can get a close up, this kind of twisty black vine. And I added a couple bats, and look at, they got their little red eyes. If that doesn't spook you, I don't know what will. All right, so we're gonna walk through the yard. So coming through the walkway, I'm gonna take a sharp left. And this is where we see our graveyard. And there's lots of people who are already residing in this graveyard. It's actually very full. So I'm not sure if we can add any more in there, but I'm sure they won't mind finding more space. And a closer look to the gargoyles. And the ghost inside the house. This one's greeting you. He looks very friendly. But then look at this one in the window. He's scary. He's scary. And there is my witch flying off to go and find some more victims. Now, before we continue, I just want to talk a little bit more about the challenge, Haunted Halloween. It's hosted by Jackie and Ellie, and our special guest for this challenge is Misty. Now, these three ladies are awesome creators. They're fantastic in everything they do. So make sure you go over and give them some love and watch their video and see what they created. I have listed their channels in the description box. Now let's see how I made this spectacular haunted house. So going to the Dollar Tree, they had 5 different designs, and this is the one I used last year, but I really wanted to try something different. I didn't want to make the same thing, so I chose one of the other designs that I thought was really unique and really caught my attention. Was this cute little spooky, I don't know, whimsical looking house, and I just loved it. But I thought, hey, look at the curve of that. That's not going to sit down right. So I chose this whimsical looking house. So I'm going with this. So I put B for the back so I can remember which one's the front and which one's the back. That's the inside. And then I marked it with the front. So we knew where the little hinges, not hinges, but we used cardboard to make the walls and the roof. So that's what I'm showing you here is we use this old box that our coffee pot came in. We never get rid of recycled stuff. We always keep it because you never know when cardboard will come in handy for a craft. So we just placed these I guess little, I don't know what they're called. I want to say cleats, but they're not cleats. But just something that you can attach the piece of cardboard to. And it just so happened that we used the edge of the box. It was already kind of, already bent. So it was perfect in some of the areas. So I'm just showing you that now once we put the walls, I said, hey, it's going to look too plain on the sides. So we traced out some windows and cut them out, and then we made some little shutters. And initially I was going to glue them back, but I decided it would just look better just to leave them that way. So here it is all mocked up with the roof. It's not completed yet, but we just wanted to do a dry run to see how it's going to look before we paint it all and apply the roof. Now, I got things to do on the inside, so we can't put the roof on as of yet. Okay, here it is all painted up. Isn't that pretty? And as you can see, I took it out, my husband took it outside and he painted it with a flat black, and that turned out great. And then I painted the ghost with a little bit of white. Now this box is from the Dollar Tree as well, and the little back comes off. And so what I thought was we could paint the ghost and put it on the inside of the window and then add some lights, and that would give it a really spooky look in the window. And here is the inner workings of this house. There's that box that I was talking about, and we put the lights on there, and I covered up the windows with some fabric from the Dollar Tree. I used some silver glittered spider webs that I got last year, and that green one I got this year. So just covered all the windows, and then I just put the lights all over, hot glued them down just to make sure that they didn't move. And I tried to put them in all the different windows in the front. I didn't have enough to go around the back, but I was able to get some on the sides. And here's the top of the roof, all painted and ready to go. Now once the roof was all on and attached, then I just went over it with a little bit of white paint just to give it some dimension so it wasn't all black. So for the base, I reused this platform that I had for my bunny, if you haven't seen that video, you guys should go check it out. And here it is. I took the log off, and now we're going to attach our base to this platform. So now this recycled box was painted black, and then we scored some lines to make it look like brick. And then I had to come in and I just simply painted or I dabbed some of this gray paint that I created, and I put it in all the different little areas within the marked areas and made these little faux granite, or I don't know, brick. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And then I painted the stairs because again, I was trying to get away from not everything being black since my house was primarily black. and I'm just showing you how the stairs were put together with some craft sticks and a piece of cardboard underneath. So pretty easy, and then we just hot glued it to the base. And now one of the other things, if you'll notice, there's some openings on either side, so I had to cover that up, and I thought, how about do some railing? And I got this metal and I attached it all the way around to make it look like it's a railing, so my ghosts don't fall off the porch. Now I'm making my stands for my gargoyles, and I'm just using the blocks from the Dollar Tree. And then I applied some craft sticks over the top so you wouldn't see the wooden blocks. I wanted it to be a cleaner look, and after I did that, I painted it black. Then I simply hot glued my gargoyles onto the top of each of those blocks, and that's going to serve as a stand for my porch. Now looking at them, there were two planes, so I decided to marbleize them, and there you go, they're all done. Oh yeah, I had to add a little white too because it was just too black. So now on to the headstones for the graveyard. Didn't have any gray, so I just used some white chalk paint and a little bit of black, and I just painted each one of those craft stick tips. And as you can see, there's some different sizes just to give it some variety inside the graveyard. So once my little headstones were dry, I decided to do some designs on some of the headstones, and I had this cute little stencil, and it has a spider web and a spider, so I decided to do that on a couple of the tombstones or headstones. And here you go. Here is what they look like. I don't have a Cricut, so I had to write them myself because all of the lettering I have was way too big. Now on to making the cemetery. I used that wire or metal from the Dollar Tree, and I just simply bent it around this piece of cardboard so I can make my graveyard. I added an archway, and then in the end I added a little piece at the top just to give it some interest. So now we'll turn the lights on so I can show you some details. So here is a tour of the graveyard. And as you can see, some are pretty funny. We've got Ted and Buried, Read and Weep, You'll Be Next, Just in Pieces, ha ha ha. And this one, You Are Next, so be careful. So what we did was we used this board that I had for my bunny rabbit, and we just repurposed it because it already had a lot of the moss and stuff on it. And we just cleared a little path right here and lined the walkway with some rocks. And then we have our staircase going up to the mansion. And it is basically the same on both sides. We used a face on either side, and then my husband built up the walls and the roof. And here's the platform we used. It's just a box, and I tried to paint it to look like faux stone, something to that effect. And then I took that wire and put it all the way around to make it look like the porch railing. I thought that turned out pretty good. And that same metal roll that you get from the Dollar Tree, that's from the Dollar Tree, is the same as what I used on the graveyard. Two different styles, but it worked out perfect. When I bought it, I wasn't sure what I was going to use it for, but I knew it would come in handy one day. And then I don't know if you could see inside, I put a piece of really pretty paper just to make it look like a rug or flooring or something in there, so it wouldn't be the same as the base. And then I did there is some video about how I put the lights in. And you can see here it's green. I put some green material here, but when you have the lights out, it all looks red. So it looks kind of cool when you have some light on so you can see it. And then here, of course, is my tree with my witch and some bats. And look at that spooky background. Pretty cool, huh? And then we have this little dead tree here in the front, just to give it some interest. So now we just look at it from another angle with the light on, with the background. That background is perfect for this, and really enjoyed working on this house. And you guys tell me what you think, if I did a good job. Took me a couple days. My husband did help me with the construction of the house. Like I said, he is the architect in the family, well, the engineer, whatever. He knows all the angles, so he was very helpful in that. So I'm gonna leave you to music and the darkness, and hope that you guys all enjoyed this video, and I will be repurposing this in the next couple weeks to make it more of a kid-friendly versus a spooky. Hopefully I get a chance to do that. That's my plan anyways. Thank you so much, you guys, for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.